right on the freaking money every time. And this was case in point. And this was a jaw-dropping, breathtaking performance. What's going on, everybody? This is Clark Beckham coming to you from my hotel room in Baltimore. We've got the top 20 to go through. Let's go. We are live, kinda. So I think they're doing it live, like they did it in real time, one take through, as if it were live 3 or 4 days ago. And then afterwards took those pieces, edited it together, and gave us the show that looks live but isn't literally quite live. A couple things come with this. So one, we have hair, makeup, and wardrobe people. Another thing is the judges' comments are gonna be not as good. Now they have to remember how to do this live in real time where there is no editing and it's their time to shine and you gotta say something smart, go. And sometimes that looks like cheesy one-liners or several of them that don't seem to make sense together that Lionel just says. That happens a lot. Or something that Katie will say that doesn't really make any sense, like chopping through the air like an X-Man. I don't know what that means. I still think Luke is the best judge. I mean, when Lionel's good, he's great. Same thing with Katie, but Luke is kind of Mr. Consistent for me, but we're gonna see that shift. The show opens and we see that Ryan Seacrest is doing his General Patton lookalike. And we have Emyrson. Emyrson starts off, and she's getting better every time I hear her. Her tone is excellent. She's missing a little bit on the top notes. They're a little shallow, yelly, but her stage presence, her look, the way she delivers the line with her face, if that makes sense. Like, it's just really intense. One note that would help a ton is if she would just get her eyes up a little bit. A lot of times she's kind of looking down and like giving the attitude to the floor, but if she just put those eyes up and gave the attitude to camera level, it'd be another level. She's developing more and more. She's great. Mike Parker looks great, sounds good. He had a lot of vocal things that he did and executed them all. He sounds just like John Legend, and I know that's gotta be annoying to hear for him or maybe some of his fans, but I just can't get around it. Now, the fact that he's doing country is gonna help, because if he was trying to do R&B, soul, pop stuff and sounded like John Legend, that would be a bigger problem than him trying to do it in another genre completely. But it's still something that kind of rubs. Remember to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'm gonna do a random pop-up live Q&A open to everyone. It's only gonna be 15 minutes long, but you have to hit the notification bell to know that it's happening. I'm not gonna announce when I'm gonna do it. You'll get that notification and you can jump on, ask me anything. I'll be on for only 15 minutes. You're not gonna know what's gonna happen unless you have the notification bell clicked. Tristen, he is a kid in a candy store here with the lights and the stage and everything, the wardrobe, everything at his disposal. He gives us the wild, energetic performance he always gives. I don't know if he's got the vocal chops to go far into the show and to really make a deep run. It's clear America likes him, which I love because I like him too. If he got some vocal lessons and really developed a mixed voice and was able to extend his range into some really high, impressive, strong notes, I think he could be really, really special. Sage, she's in, and she's in a level playing field because now we get to hear her for 90 seconds or 2 minutes, just like everybody else. She didn't get a lot of airtime, but now it doesn't quite matter because it's clear America likes her, they voted her in, and she gets her performance here. Same thing with Elli. I thought she sounded great. She had a few stumbles here and there. She's mostly on. Her rasp sounded a little painful. Now, there's a way to do rasp where it's strong and powerful and doesn't damage your voice. The way she was doing it sounded to me like it was actually damaging her voice. And if the audience feels that, then of course they're uncomfortable because empathy. If we see someone or sense that someone's in pain, we kind of feel that too. And it felt like that. I've been getting a lot of emails about house concerts and trying to line stuff up. If you want to have me at your house to do a house concert or your event, or for a speaking engagement, which is actually why I'm here in a hotel room in Baltimore, if that interests you, you can hit me up at clarkbeckhambooking@gmail.com. Jay's got this little bounce that he does that is cool, but for some reason it's just starting to bother me a little bit. But that's really nitpicky. If you do something weird and you just do it enough, it becomes a character trait, a signature move, a signature thing that people fall in love with. So that's not really a negative remark, it's just something I noticed. I thought he did well. The second gear and the second half of the song, when he went big, was really needed, because during the middle of the song I was like, what are we doing? Like, I'm not really into this. There's nothing special that's happening. And then he went to the higher gear, started doing some big notes, and I'm like, okay, there we go. But overall, I thought the arrangement was a little wonky, didn't flow very well, and I wasn't super into it. It didn't feel like a unified, solid piece. I feel like at this point in the show, all the arrangements of the songs have been dark and grungy and 80s-esque, and I am starting to feel like the band is a little bit one-dimensional. Now, they're all monsters, so they can play whatever, but I'm starting to feel the difference between my band that I had on Idol, which was Ricky Minor, and the band, and that's the greatest band ever assembled, in my opinion. All of those players are legends, and Paul Jackson Jr., the guitar player, the most recorded guitar player of all time. Ricky Minor, arguably the greatest MD of all time. You've got both keyboard players who played with Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles for years. You had Teddy on drums, who's also known as one of the greatest drummers on the planet. So you had this superstar team, and they were unbelievably versatile and experienced on doing the American Idol thing, because they did it for a decade or more. I'm starting to feel like the band is a little bit, this is our thing, and we can do a little bit of other stuff, but listen to this run that we can do, or hit this crazy line. Nicolina, I love this. I thought this was her best performance since her audition. I love the verse. As soon as someone starts singing a verse and it's really, really, really low, that means they're gonna go really, really high, because that verse is so low because they need to be in that key so they can reach the top of their range. So that's just something to look at. When she jumped the octave in that verse, I was in love with what she was doing. She sounded great. Her tone cut through really well. I'm not a big fan of this song, but I loved it when she sang it. When we got to the chorus, I was a little disappointed with the tempo change. So the whole time it was like, just like a white-winged dove, sing a song, and sing it. About right here. The verse was driving and I felt it, and she was singing, and then it got to the chorus and it was about right here, and then they changed it to just like a white-winged dove, sing a song, and they just got big. She took the mic off and tried to like really jam it, and we kind of got that out of breath, too excited feel, and I lost everything that the arrangement was giving me initially. Now, I talked to Nicolina. She actually mentioned that when she had COVID a while back, she has yet to really recover her breath. And so there is a respiratory issue that she's been struggling with, which explains a little bit of the notes that I've had recently and today of her feeling like she's out of breath when it gets like really pumped up. But my thing is, she doesn't need it. Those verses were so strong, we could have stayed right there and driven that chorus home in a heartbreaking, momentous way and been just fine. If you want to listen to this as a podcast, you can go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, type in Idol Breakdown. You can also hit the link in the description. Leave a 5-star review and tell me what you think. That really helps me a lot. Jacob Moran, holy crap. He sounded awesome. He is putting it all together. Katie says he's the best singer on the show. Guess who else has been saying that? I've been saying that. He executed so many insane runs and notes, and his tone is so good. He is putting it all together. Love what he did. HunterGirl, her tone cuts through like a knife, always has. She's struggling a little bit with some pitch here and there. Second week in a row that struggles happen. And she missed the climax run where the band cuts out and it's silence, and she gives this run and then the band comes back in. Those moments, you've got to pick a run that you can do 10 times out of 10 so that you don't miss that moment. Ryan was asking a lot of questions to the contestants afterwards. I think it's because he knew that they could edit this for time, but also how this works is Ryan has a couple assistants that go to the contestants while we're in the waiting room during the week and asks us questions about our song, our home life, like what's going on during the week, if they've done anything interesting. And then they write down all of the answers, and then they find whatever's interesting, show it to Ryan, and he decides whatever's interesting out of those answers. And what he likes, he'll ask them on stage. So when he asks a question, he already knows the answer. Also, we learned that the top 10 out of the top 20 are getting voted through as a top 10. And then the remaining 10 are performing for the remaining 4 spots that are chosen by the judges / producers. This is gonna be super interesting because we're gonna find out who America sees as their top 10, but I like it from American Idol because that's such a dramatic cut. We don't have to worry though, because if Nicolina or Tristen or Leah or some monster somehow slips through because that cut is a 50% cut, we've got 4 saves to make sure we've got our superstars taken care of. Elli, she's a freaking beast. She is a soft, gentle, smooth, wonderful voice with killer assassin-like runs. Like the killer rabbit from Monty Python, comes across sweet and wonderful and lovey, and then will just rip your head off with these brilliant note placements and runs. If you're in one of these cities at one of these times, I'd love to come out and see you. Get tickets now. I'm going on tour with another artist, and she's a beast, and these are gonna fill up quickly, so I wanna give you guys the inside information so we can fill up these seats pronto. Danielle goes home. Oh, that sucks. Didn't think that was gonna happen. Here's what we learned from this. We have more American Idol country fans voting than maybe we thought. Because Dan getting through shows us that the country genre itself is a key contributor to getting votes, in my opinion. So what does this mean? This means good news for Dan, good news for Noah and HunterGirl. So instead of hearing Danielle sing a smooth, beautiful R&B song, we get to hear this. Now here's the thing, he actually sounds pretty good. That's the best performance he's done, and he's actually hitting the notes really well. Stage presence is as good as anybody of the night. The runs are clean, the notes are there. He actually slays it. Is this my favorite genre of music and style? No. Would I much rather hear someone like Danielle who does R&B and soul and stuff that I like and do? Of course, but I gotta hand it to him. He kind of knocked this out of the park. I don't think he could have done any better than he did. Ava had great pre-performance tape. The pre-tape before they perform is as important, arguably more important than the performance itself. Why? Because we vote for the people that we like and we love and feel attached to. It's just how it is. Chanley even said, I feel like I know her. She hasn't said that about anybody else. That is the power that it takes to get people to vote. And on top of that, she crushes the performance. I loved her low female tenor voice in the verse. The chorus, when it got big, the big drawn out belting notes aren't her thing. They were a little heavy and fell a little flat. But the outro was really soulful and smooth and sweet. Overall, she did a great performance of this song. Make sure you tune in for the Q&A this Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Now, if you are a member, you can ask questions. If you're not a member, you can just watch. So, if you want to become a member and take part in the live stream watch party and be able to ask these questions in the Q&As on Wednesdays, you can click the join button below this video or click the link in the description below. Now, you have to be on a computer to do this, so get your laptop out or get your desktop. Allegra, I love these note choices. The little melody changes that she did in that song were so effective because we all know it goes, she loves Jesus. And then when she would just go, she loves Jesus, it gives so much freshness to that song. Felt like she would do it different every time. That's how authentic every note felt. She has an ability to just melt you as you listen. Noah is next. I thought he was weak on the higher notes, which is unlike him. I thought this was a weaker performance. I do like that he does pop songs, but no one questions if he's a pop artist, which is an interesting point to make when it comes to Mike. Mike has an R&B voice who's singing country songs, trying to be country, and everyone's like, it still sounds like R&B. Noah has a country voice, sings pop songs, and nobody questions if he's country or R&B. Noah is authentic country. Now, is that more valuable than Mike doing a different spin on country music. I don't know. Next, we have the beginning of 3 insane performances back to back to back with Leah. She is freaking pitch perfect. There was one little note that she missed, and that was it. In the middle of the song, I was thinking, okay, you gotta go somewhere. Like, I hope she doesn't just end the song and have it as this nice emotional ballad thing. We gotta go somewhere, we gotta go somewhere. Me of little faith didn't realize that she was setting us up, setting up the atmosphere, this foundation of emotion and feeling to take us to the freaking moon. When she went up into that second gear, oh my gosh, it was so magical, and she nailed it. Her range is effortless, and I've said it before that she's one of the most accurate singers I've ever heard. What I mean by that is simply she doesn't miss. Her pitch doesn't go off, just right on the freaking money every time. And this was case in point, and this was a jaw-dropping, breathtaking performance. Then we have Tristen, who gives us another freaking amazing, jaw-dropping, breathtaking performance. He did this high falsetto run, and I loved it because it's like he heard everybody talk about how crazy the mentorship session was last week and how he nailed those runs, but then the performance he didn't quite execute, and he's like, all right, let me get one. I'll get it. Just give me one more chance, I got it. And he delivered. He just needs to pick a song that has a good melody and is focused on the vocal, and he'll do fine. That's all he needs. His natural ability and feel to croon songs and the way he changes his tone and the shapes of his vowels and runs will never do him wrong. All he needs is a song with a good melody. That's it. He doesn't need a big arrangement. He can take one, but he doesn't need it. He could, I think, could go the entire show just doing piano and vocal if he wanted to. Next, we have Groove Crew member Fritz. Nailed this falsetto moment. I didn't know he could do that. This is another monster, breathtaking, jaw-dropping, emotional performance where everyone's crying. This is his best performance that he's done, and it's the time to do it with this big of a cut coming up. He reminds me of James Bay a lot here. He crushes this. Keep tuning in to watch the premieres. The premieres have been blowing up every single week, more and more. Let's keep it going. Every Monday and Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Katyrah, I don't know what to say, so I'm just gonna say it. I'm not a fan, and I can't go deep into it because she's singing fine. She's doing the notes right. She's got a ton of energy. She moves so much and is so big when she walks and takes steps when she's got the mic. But is that a bad thing? No, I mean, it's just excitement and grooving, and maybe I'm just jealous because I can't groove like that on stage. I don't know what it is, but I've never gotten all the way behind her performances. Cameron shows us he's a legit singer, which is what I was not getting until this point. Last week we talked about how it feels like he's a gimmick, a caricature. This time he stands, has a straight mic stand, and delivers a song, sounds awesome. Then he takes it off and then gives a little bit of that jittery energy. But with the contrast, when he's standing still and we have that dynamic move, it's fine. And I knew he could stand still. Some people were saying like, Clark, you're being insensitive. He can't help himself. It's like, okay, well, he's sitting still when he's talking in interviews. So like he can do it, and he showed that he can when the music lends itself to that focused, dedicated moment. He can do it, and he sounds great. If he was able to make it through on his last performance last night doing that, I mean, he could go really far. Cadence is next. Thought she started a little rough, got on track very quickly. The bigger notes, I bet, sounded awesome in the room live when you were there. On TV, you gotta be really pitch perfect to pull those off, and she was really close to killing it, but I thought vocally just missing a little too much on those top notes near the end when the song got big, but she's got it in her, and I'm rooting for her. Lastly, we have Lady K. She gets the pimp spot once again. I thought it was great. I didn't feel any conviction in her, though. I didn't feel like she had the sauce smothered on the song like I've heard her do. When she sang I'd Rather Be Blind, I believe that she would genuinely rather be blind. Like she sold that song so much. I was like, oh, there's a singer. She's hit all the notes on this song, but I didn't feel anything personally when she was singing it. My winners of the week, I've got 4. These 4 went to a completely different planet in their performances. Leah, Fritz, Christian, and Jacob could not have done better. Monsters really set themselves apart. My loser for the week is standing ovations, because apparently everybody just gets a standing ovation. That used to be a huge deal if the judges gave you a standing ovation. Now it's like everyone gets one. I'm going on tour. It's time for our conspiracy theories. From Zohar, Clark ate a bad serving of beaver tails at Canada's Wonderland years ago. He can't remember, but that's why he's not a fan of Canadian contestants. No, I don't know what any of that means or what it is. And I love Nicolina, so there. It is not, it's not that I don't love her, because now I do, because she's wonderful. I will say, this brings up a good point about Nicolina in Canada. She doesn't have the hometown advantage of voting, because if you're in Canada, you can't vote. We'll see if that leads to an early departure, maybe a shocking departure, because everybody else has that built-in hometown crew that's gonna vote like crazy. She doesn't have that advantage. Put your conspiracy theories in the comments right now, because in the next video I do, I'm gonna feature somebody's comment, and it's tomorrow, so go for it. Reviewer question comes from Colin Severns. Question: what is your honest opinion on Nick Fradiani? Do you believe you should have won, and why do you think you lost? Woo, there's a loaded question. Okay, my honest opinion of Nick Fradiani. Nick is one of my best friends in the world and always will be. He's one of those guys that if I didn't see him for like 5 years and saw him again, it'd be like nothing happened. He's one of the most kind, selfless, hardworking dudes and a fantastic person and friend. Do I believe he should have won? Yes. Why? Because he did. I think whoever wins should have won because they got the most votes. It's just how it happens. Am I a better singer than Nick? I can hit higher notes and I can do more vocal acrobatic type things than him, but that doesn't make me more palatable or make me a better performer or idol contestant, clearly, because he got the most votes. Last question, why did I lose? In the end, you just never know. I could say different things, like near the end, the judges really grilled me on everything I did, and Nick really hit a high spurt and started killing it, and the judges were like, "You're the greatest of all time." And to me, they're like, "What happened? You're terrible." That doesn't help, but at the end of the day, I get the microphone for 90 seconds at the end, 2 or 3 times a show, and it's my responsibility to leave no doubt. Do I have any regrets? Absolutely not. I think the best thing happened that could have possibly happened. Doesn't necessarily mean if you can sing higher notes that you should win. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.